Great. Thanks, Paul. Happy game week. Finally, here we go. Welcome to college football, and excited to get things started. Had a really good practice this morning. Guys are off the field, and sorry, I'm a little hoarse, just scrambling from getting over there. So thanks for being here, and looking forward to the start of 2016 season. Our honorary captain this week is someone that's so close to our program that he really doesn't need an introduction. But Steve Green's our Deputy AD of Internal Affairs, and he's been with Northwestern since '95. Serves as a sport administrator for football, and look forward to having Steve be a part of the weekend. He's around us every day, but it's great to have him accept that invitation. Very impressed watching Western Michigan on video. You know, as you go through your off-season studies of your upcoming opponents, the teams that you haven't played. You know, obviously we started with Coach Fleck's team, and you know, then as you go through your typical prep, you know, all three phases. They've got playmakers everywhere. They're very well coached. You know, they've done a terrific job recruiting, and you know, to see, you know, especially the way that they played last year, they very easily could have won a championship. You know, won the Bahamas Bowl, and I now believe is their preseason rank to win the MAC West. So, you know, a team that not only had a great year last year, but has a lot of weapons coming back. Very sound with what they do in all three phases, and you know, going to be a great challenge for us. This is now, you know, again, it's my 11th opener, so we've been through this quite a bit. Another new opponent, and so another new challenge. So always in the opener, you got to be prepared to adjust and prepare to see things that you haven't seen on video, and hopefully give your guys a great plan as you go through the game. So guys are excited. We had a good first go today, and look forward to getting things started here at 11 o'clock on Saturday at Ryan Field. So with that, how about some questions, please?
If you've got a question, please get Carson's attention on your right, or Ray's here on your left to get the microphone before you ask.
Pat, 11th opener, I believe you're perfect except for one. And that, what do you attribute your record in opening games to? What do you think that's?
I wish I had the perfect answer for that,
Yeah.
Dave. I think we've been in, and you've called them, we've been in some barn burners to start the year. We try to do a great job peaking on Saturday, you know, not trying to take too much out of the guys here. We definite transition this week. You know, we're out of camp mode. You know, and there's that trap that you can fall into where you'd stay in a camp mentality. And with us not having school, you know, we want our guys to have more time off, more opportunity to be fresh. And, you know, we definitely shorten practices up. So, you know, I think maybe our plan has helped us be fresh for the opener. And then, you know, we found a way to win. It's not many of them have been beautiful victories, but we found a way to win that game, and hopefully we'll have a good week of preparation this week, getting ready for Western.
Hey, Pat, one of the playmakers that you mentioned that Western Michigan has is Corey Davis. What have you seen out of him on the outside, and any plans specifically to limit him?
Yeah, well, you know, we saw Corey as a freshman, you know, here last time we played Western, and, you know, he's a great player. He was an instant impact player in their program, you know, when he first got there, and now to see his progression, you know, he's just very impressive. He's a complete wide receiver. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. He's physical. He's really good blocking. They move him around. They do a lot of really good things with him, and he makes big plays happen in a lot of different ways. You know, down the field, intermediate throws, timing throws, screen. I mean, they do a really nice job, you know, showcasing his skills. So, you know, I don't think anybody has stopped him. So, I mean, I think that second part of your question, I think it's just, again, you've got to limit explosive plays, try to do everything you can to keep the ball inside and in front. And, you know, I'm sure they're going to have a great plan, and we got to find a way to contain it.
First, just a couple hours ago was announced Trevor Siemian, QB1, Denver Broncos, taking on Cam Newton week 1. So I wanted to get your thoughts, reaction to that. And two, what's your opinion of how P.J. Flick represents the brand of Western Michigan football, like the high-energy way that he is the face of their program?
Yeah, the first one, it's great news about Trevor. We were on the field, so that's great. Fired up for him. You know, he was here for a couple weeks over the summer, and we went out and played some golf, and he and I were just talking about some things. And his goal wasn't to be the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos. His goal was to win a championship for the Denver Broncos. So this is the next step, and he's fallen into a really, I think, great opportunity with an outstanding football team. That he's just got to go out and be Trevor, and it'll be fun to watch. We're very, very proud of him, but I'm not surprised. I thought his confidence level was very high this summer when we talked. I thought his grasp of what Coach Kubiak and their offensive staff were asking him to do, I think he felt very confident in that. So we're fired up for him, but nobody is surprised in our program. You just wish he would have stayed healthy, but that's in the rearview mirror. So. Fire it up for him, and he'll do a terrific job. He's got a pretty good team around him, so I'm sure he'll do a great job. And I've known PJ for a long time. We've known each other, back when I was an assistant coach. So, I'm very happy for him. Another Chicago guy being successful. Coaching college football, and he's done a terrific job. They've turned the program around since the first year that we played them. Now, postseason, multiple years, predicted to, like I said, to win the MAC West. So, obviously they've done an absolutely terrific job. And, I'll be a big fan of his in every game but Saturday. So, but fired up for the job that he's doing.
Coach, what questions maybe weren't answered in camp that you're hoping to get, maybe more light on this week?
Well, it's funny. I was talking to Jay Hooten, our strength coach, and he goes, "What do you think?" I go, "Ask me that question at 3:00 on Saturday." We've had a lot of practice, so obviously game week is very different, right? You're going through your specific routine that you go through to get prepared, situational football, kicking game sequence, things of that nature. Anytime, we have open week, we have the opener, we have bowl practice, we kind of go through our same routine. So although it's Monday, today was a Tuesday practice, heavy work day for us. And as you guys felt out there, it was nice and thick. So it was a good first go. But I just want to see us play. I want to see the new pieces go out and play and compete against a different colored jersey, see how we handle in-game success, in-game adversity, how guys handle the coaching that happens during that time period, and see us play 4 quarters of our style of football. That's what my expectations are. But we've got to put, really 3 more on the field days of preparation before we're ready for that. So, Western presents a lot of problems schematically that you've got to get prepared for. We've got 2 veteran coordinators that do a really good job. Kick game, they're very multiple. So, you've got to have a plan and everything, and then have the joy of the opener. Get ready to adjust.
Heat expected to be about 80 degrees on Saturday. Does that put a premium on making depth and making sure you get a lot of guys in there?
Yeah, especially early in the year, guys have warranted playing time. And then, Saturdays as we move forward will be obviously an evaluation period, for some guys that maybe aren't necessarily listed as starters, but, they can be 1B. They're going to be in the rotation. And that, not only from where they're at today, but where is it now a month from now as we get ready for Big Ten play, that really determines where it goes for that group of guys the rest of the season. So, yeah, I think our depth is in a solid place, but we'll see how things progress through this week of practice and then the way guys play in games.
Pat, you've generally been able to identify a go-to guy on offense, whether it's Vitale or some wide receivers. Do you have a sense of who that might be this year? And secondly, how has the transition gone for Cam Green at Superback?
Without a doubt, I think one of our go-to guys will be Justin Jackson. And, you feel good about that. Moving forward from there, I've seen a lot of guys practice well. Again, it's one thing to know your opponent from playing against yourself, meaning, the guys know the strengths and weaknesses of the secondary, the linebackers, the coverage concepts. Now we're, playing a team that bases out of man-free coverage, a little bit different structure than what we see from our defense. So, how we handle that and where things go. Cam's done a great job. We're looking forward to seeing how things progress for him. He's a big young player. I mean, he's a redshirt freshman that has had to really work hard to stay, I guess you'd say, in skinny jeans. So now I told him he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. So he's he's not overly upset, but he's doing fine. He's been there for 3 weeks and learning the ropes, and he'll be better 3 weeks from now than he is today.
Coach, you hit on this already a little bit, but PJ Flaxstone is a pretty good recruiter out there. What do you see on film? Like, how would you compare the talent level, size, speed, depth, Western Michigan with a Big Ten team?
Well, I mean, I think they've done a terrific job. They've taken young guys that probably were overlooked by our conference, and they've done a great job in their strength program. They've got good size, as you see in their numbers, on both sides of the line of scrimmage. They've got talent on both sides on the offensive side and the defensive side. I mean, Phillips, their corner, who's also their really dynamic return man. A lot of he looks like, when I pop on the tape, he looks like a Big Ten returner. So this is a very talented team, and it's what you sign up for, right? When you come play Big Ten football, you want to play good teams, non-conference schedule, and talented teams, and this is one of them.
Coach, two-part question. I know you looked at a lot of receivers internally. Was it difficult to separate and put the guys on a depth chart? And are there a lot of guys kind of still in that group right behind them? And secondly, did you when you recruited Cam, did you think you might use him in this role, or did this kind of just evolve?
Yeah, good question, Mike. I'll answer the second one first. Cam was coming off an injury, so we had no idea how big he would get. We knew he was a bigger wide receiver. And that was one of the things I said to him. I'm not going to crystal ball. We're going to start you at wide receiver and see how things progress. There's multiple guys that we've had that happen to, where all of a sudden, a couple of years later, now they're, totally different looking guys. And, Cam's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger. So I'm excited that he's earned a role, and look forward to watching, him. From a standpoint of depth chart, it's funny. I told the coaches yesterday, I'm looking for a two deep. They had a bunch when I first gave it to me, they gave me a bunch of oars. I wasn't looking for oars. I was looking for a two deep. So we eliminated the oars, and we just got to the two deep. So yeah, I mean, there's more names than that are just listed there, but currently that's all I have to talk about. So that's all I'm going to talk about. But the guys have been doing a really good job of working their tails off to improve, and that's all that we ask. Just get better, improve, and their playing time on Saturdays will be determined not only based on the preparation they put in throughout the week, but also then, especially for some of these younger guys, the way they play in the kicking game, and then how they play on Saturdays. So I think this is the deepest group maybe we've had, but time will tell as we go out and play. I mean, again, it's my evaluation from practice, but let's see how it is in games.
Coach, a middle linebacker is only as good as his defensive line, as I'm sure you would agree with. Now that you've lost two very effective defensive linemen to the NFL, tell us a little bit about how that front is maturing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I get to have my name talked about a lot because of about 12 really unselfish guys, and I'm very thankful for them. And we'll have a fun reunion on homecoming this year for the 96 team, and so that'll be fun. But 2 years ago, Teddy, I don't think anybody would probably have asked me about Lowry and Gibson in this meeting, in this press conference, and the way that they developed, shows kind of, I think, not only what Marty Long does as our D-line coach, but also what we do with our guys in the weight room. And the credit goes to Dino and to Tay, but they work their tails off. And I've seen that same type of work ethic from Xavier and from Afadi. I mean, Afadi's a totally different looking guy than he was at this time last year. He had his best camp of his career. And Xavier, I've really been impressed by the maturity that I've seen from him. I think a lot of that has to do with now being the one. When you're that two and you're rotational, it's different than being on that front seat. So I like what I've seen from those guys. I think Joe Gaziano's had a really strong camp. I've been impressed by him. And then, some of the young guys, we'll see how things progress with Trent and with Tommy Carnifax and Alex Miller. And we've got a pretty deep list of guys that we can move around. And we're cross-training a bunch of guys, so we'll see how that plays out. But I'm not worried about our depth as we sit here today. Who? I'm not supposed to talk about him. Nobody's supposed to know about him. Shh. I could talk about the inside guys, but I was more talking about the ends.
What have you seen of what stands out at you in film with their backup quarterback, Baby Flacco?
Yeah, well, they did a nice job last year. I mean, you could kind of call it like a wildcat package, I guess, from a layman's formation standpoint. A lot of formation variations, a lot of quarterback run. You know, they've got play action pass off of all that. Did a really good job kind of mixing that in. And, you know, they had, you know, if 1 week it was we're going to run quarterback power, then they had a counter. You know, if 1 week, you know, so they built packages for that. And so when you look at the whole season, there's quite a bit there that they did with them, and they did a really good job. They had a great game against Toledo. You know, made a big difference in that game. Talented young man.
Speaking of backup quarterbacks, did you see enough from LVD in camp to want to figure out ways to get him in the game?
Well, you know, definitely Matt's as healthy as he's ever been, and that's really encouraging, not only for Matthew but also for our offense and our team. So, you know, as things progress and game plan things that we make decisions on, it's pretty rare for me to get up here and talk about that. So I won't start today, but you know, he's definitely put himself in position, I think, from not only a rep standpoint this camp, but also from rewinding back to spring ball when, unfortunately, he was out, where he just really, I thought, just dug deep into the mental side of the playbook and learned a lot from observing. And without question, Matthew had his best camp of his career. So I think it's a byproduct of, like I said, spring being out, being healthy again, and now, you know, just having the opportunity. So I know he's excited, and we're fired up for him.
As pass happy as Western Michigan seems to be, does it concern you a little having to play a rookie cornerback in there first game and then also rookie backups?
Well, it's college football. I mean, that's usually what happens. You know, you're going to have, you know, seniors graduate, and if we've recruited well, we kind of backed them up, and I feel like we have. You know, we've got a pretty good, solid core guys in that back half. I look forward to watching our guys play. You know, again, it's one thing to practice; it's another thing to watch them go play. And again, they're, you know, I wish we were playing Carl Sandburg High School, but we're not. So it's, you know, I wish I was our basketball team. I mean, I don't know who I saw our non-conference schedule. That would be cool. I mean, you know, that would be awesome. So that's not the deal. That's not what football gets. We go play and they all count. So at least at the collegiate level. So, you know, we're going to learn a lot about ourselves by 4:00 on Saturday. I mean, that's the bottom line. So a lot of work to do between now and then, but looking forward to watching our guys play. I mean, I know they'll be excited. It's been a long road since January 1st. Pretty nasty taste in our mouth with the last game that we played. So look forward to watching them compete. How'd they do? Not good. Yeah.
But hey, they got rough weekend.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Not good at all. Any more questions about my high school? No?
Any more questions for Coach? All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a great year. Go Cats.